Hello and welcome back to another episode here on the OmathaCraft Season 4 server. In today's episode we are going to be working and actually beginning on the building side of things on this minigame. Now the minigame we began to talk about in the last episode. But today we're actually going to be cracking on and I'm going to be able to hopefully paint a bit of a picture in your eyes of what this game is going to be like to play and how it's going to work, what it's going to look like. And as you can see, we are down here at the pillager farm, which we made in the previous episode. So I've made some small little upgrades. So I've added some slabs on here. Yeah, I'm sorry about the diorite. It was the only thing I had in my inventory. So it's diorite on top of there at the moment. But we're actually working on this project with a person on the server. Now, this person on the server I've done a lot of work with in the past, and that is Mr. Vicious Pie. We decided we're going to team up and work on this project together. So he actually sort of put a little bit of decoration for that tunnel, which makes it just that little bit better. But as we can see, if we head up the top, you will see that I've added these water sort of pillars in the front. Now I'm considering extending them out even further, so maybe another 2 blocks. So this means any arrows which are shot through will actually get forced down by the, I mean, throwing a trident was the worst example I could use, but they will get pushed down, meaning they won't hit the golems. Now, when 1.15 comes around, we're actually going to be able to repair golems, which is going to make life a lot easier, which will be very, very good. But for the time being, I think these water sort of features, water features, that's what we'll go with. We'll call them water features, are working all right for the time being. But me and Vicious Pie, now I was planning to record this intro with Mr. Vicious Pie, but I can't get hold of him, so that's not happening. So I'm going to go ahead and start recording today's episode. But as you can see, some work is being done. As you can see, we have done a lot of planning. We spent about an hour on the server. We were flattening the whole area. There was a big cliff here. That is completely gone. I mean, there's still more digging that needs to be done. And we have done a lot of planning. We have talked through how we want this minigame to work, and we've sort of done the layout for the arena. So this here is the arena. So what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to try and talk you through what this layout actually means and how it's all going to work. When me and Pie came over here, we set up all of our shulker boxes and everything. Now these 20 shulker boxes over here are literally all full of stone items. Now this is going to be a very stone build. We're thinking that's the kind of theme we want to go for. It's not going to be modern. We're going for this sort of stone, not castle-y, more sort of industrial, reinforced, that kind of thing. So a lot of cobblestone, a lot of stone, polished andesite, those kind of blocks, stone bricks, that kind of stuff. But yeah, we managed to lay out all of these double chests, and I think we've almost filled, yeah, we've already filled half of them, and we haven't really even begun on the project yet. We've just done the layout. So hopefully this is kind of roughly an idea of how big this project is going to be. So you may have gathered already that this is going to be roughly the design for the walls. Now the top of the walls haven't worked out just yet, as we actually want some battlements up here. We want you to be able to come up here maybe using a bow and arrow and fight the raid, which is obviously going to be coming into the tower. So up here there's going to be some kind of battlements, and the idea is we'll obviously have all this lit up so there'll be no other mobs. It will just be purely the raids you are fighting. So as we can see, these walls will be going around the entirety of the compound, and on every side there is an entrance to the compound. As we can see, there's an entrance there, an entrance here, an entrance over there, and an entrance just there. So these are going to have, what I'm hoping to do is some big redstone doors. So possibly you have to solve a puzzle in the tower, which this part here is going to be the tower. You have to solve a puzzle in the tower. If you can solve it correctly, the doors will close, meaning your life becomes easier. And the idea is, obviously, as I explained in the last episode, we are going to have a raid happen, and that's the point of the pillager farm, which we built up in the last episode. The pillagers will spawn in when you have got the bad omen, and down underground we're going to have some villagers stored away, so a raid will actually happen. Now, nothing to do with the villagers is actually going to happen. We're not going to worry about them, really. That is just so the functionality works itself. But this circular building in the middle, it's more of a sort of a squish square, I think is a squish square. That's an interesting word to say quickly. But as we can see in there, that is going to be our tower. So we're going to have kind of this circular tower built up, and then these rooms in the middle, we've got some rooms in here which we'll be doing different things with. They might have a control room, and I think in here there might be sort of a statue thing, maybe a staircase, and there's going to be multiple layers. It's going to be a really big build, so I'm actually quite excited about that. And there's a lot to do, so I think what we're going to do is while we're waiting for Vicious Pie to get back on the server, I'm going to start building up all of these walls and just sort of get the grind done. These big cobblestone walls, let's get them up, let's get the polished andesite in place. Once we've done that, we'll be able to start designing and working out what we want to do for the tower. Okay, so I managed to get Pi on the server, and yeah, we've done some work. So we've been modifying the squish square, which is really what it is, isn't it? It's just we've cut the corners off, to be honest. But we've added these reinforced pillars with these smooth stone blocks, and then using the stone brick blocks, we've used that as sort of the base of the tower. So I think this is obviously going to be the theme of the tower. They're going to be the sort of template of the tower. And we built it up 7 blocks. So if we, let's say, come down out and about, out in the field, so you're just walking by, it just peaks over the top of the first layer. But what I'm thinking now is those inner bits there, so that's actually going to form the next sort of layer. Think of it layers of cake. We might have 3 or 4 layers of this tower. So this is the first layer. It's 7 blocks high. We've got the room, and what I'm thinking is the next layer is actually going to be square shaped. So this is going to be really the only curved shape building. I mean, we can tweak it wherever we come up with, to be honest. But I think what we do is we bring out the floor just like this. So the floor, this is going to be, let's say, the first layer battlements, all comes out just like this. So we fill all of these blocks in, coming up to this, and then the next layer will be in line with those blocks down there. So I think that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to see what we come up with, and we are just doing this on the fly. We're making it up as we go along because, well, why not? It's much more fun this way than actually testing something. So we'll go with the flow, and we'll see what we can come up with. Okay. Take a look at what we've done. We have done a lot of block placing. As you can see, we have built up this entire monstrosity, I think is probably the best way of putting it together. And as you can see, it's a big tower. It's not a very high tower, though we will be adding a little bit more height in just a minute. But it is going to be dense, full of redstone contraptions and traps and all kinds of bits and pieces to make this a minigame. I've also been brainstorming with Pi, and we've come up with even more games and things you can play in this tower defense kind of game. It's going to be such good fun, and I hope you can understand how hyped I am for this project. Now, I'd like to point out, this is the basic sort of shell of the build. So there is a lot more detail going in. Obviously, there's going to need to be windows. There's going to need to be all kinds of bits and pieces added to this. This is just sort of the framework and, let's say, the canvas for us to begin painting on. That's going to be my analogy here. We will be painting on this canvas. We are just needing to make the canvas at time being. But take a look inside. There's loads and loads of space in here. This will actually probably be tweaked around in the end. This was just a rough idea for rooms and things. But now what I want to do is I want to finish up the basis of this tower. So up here, what I want to do is I like to add the central tower here. So this is going to go up fairly tall, and then there's going to be a big watchtower, so you're going to be able to stand up there and look around and see everything around, so you can see where the raid is approaching or what else might be approaching when we tell you what are the other ideas we have. Now I'm thinking I'll add a couple of other sort of towery spikes or something along these lines, just 4 of them, 1 on each corner, just to fill up the space a little bit. They won't be as tall as that one. They're kind of supporting towers, and most likely they might have, let's say, arrow traps from this one here, or they might just be, they might not have anything in, but who knows at this stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up this main tower here, see what we can come up with. Once we've done that, we should be able to get a good idea of what this game is going to be like and the scale of this project. So yeah, this looks bonkers. To be honest, I don't know what there else is to say. I mean, it needs the extra towers just to block out the bulkiness of this sort of weird tower bit. So these towers, I think, are really going to help out, sort of amplify the scale of this build. There's so much stone brick. So much stone brick. But if we head up the top, I've added a little control. Well, I'm clearly not heading up the top. I've missed it. If we head up the top, let's take 2. Right, okay, so up here at the top, you will see that what I've done is I've added the basis of what our control room is going to be like. So what we have is we have a watch area out here. So out here, we can stand up here, we can see all of this area everywhere in render distance. It is all visible. Now, it doesn't actually matter that you can't see inside the compound, because at that point, if you're up at the watchtower, the main point is you can see for the distance. You can see what's coming, how far away it is, and you get the sort of you're ready for it. And then you can head down to the lower levels and the lower sort of battlements, which are going to be down on this level here, down on this level here, and of course down here. And obviously there'll be things all throughout in the building, loads of traps, puzzles, all those kind of bits and pieces, which will have to be solved to make this game a lot easier for you to play and to use. So yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Obviously there is no decoration being done. I haven't lit any of this up, which means actually I think down here is getting a little bit dark, and that's actually reminded me of something I thought I'd like to show off. It's something I downloaded earlier in this episode, and it's a resource pack. So I'm going to put on this resource pack and let's take a look at it, because I think I've fallen in love. Okay, this at first might look a bit bonkers, but what we have here is the general textures, normal textures. As we can see, that poppy's looking fairly normal, but if we take a look around, things have changed. Things are red. Things are pitch black. We can't see a thing. What's going on here? This here is a light texture pack. If we, let's say, hold our torch in our fan, because we have Optifine dynamic lighting, we can see exactly where mobs will spawn. The blocks which are red are blocks which mobs can spawn on, which is incredibly useful. We can come along and find blocks like this, smack down a torch, and as we'll see, no mobs can now spawn there because we know everything is fully lit up. So as you can imagine, this has been incredibly useful for me and Pi while we're trying to light this thing up, while trying to not get blown up by creepers, etc, etc. So this has been saving our bot a lot. So as we can see, eventually this tower will be fully lit up. That's a lot of lighting up, which will be done later in the episode, but this is how we're going to make sure no mobs can spawn anywhere inside of our build. Now obviously they will texture the side of blocks here, and that is just because that's the way the resource pack works, but obviously mobs cannot spawn on that block because there's nothing to spawn on apart from air. Now, off the top of my head, I cannot remember the creator of this resource pack, so when I do remember that, I'll make sure to put a link down in the description, so you can go and download this for yourself. It's incredibly useful, and all I have to do is then head to the resource pack menu and turn it off. It's nice and quick, it's easy to use, and it works with, I think it has to work with Optifine. So, if you're not using Optifine, sadly, this resource pack will not work. So I'm going to get to work building up the towers here, just to sort of hide away this part of the build here, which looks a little bit weird at the moment, but that's not to worry. We'll get that all sorted and fixed. But yeah, once that's done, we have the template sorted. Okay, so unfortunately I have run out of time for today's episode, but let's take a look at what we have done. So I've added these extra towers in. So we have one on each 4 of the corners, and as you can see, they actually add quite a bit. I have to say that has made a real difference in the tower. That's added just a little small thing that was needed just to fill up this large space we have up here. And you will also notice one of the other major changes is it's obviously all lit up. Now there is still a few spots which haven't been fully lit up, but we'll be working on that, especially when we add things to the battlements up here and other bits and pieces that will kind of fill up the area so mobs won't be able to spawn. You will also notice that there seems to be a pillager guy up there. So we're gonna avoid him because I'd rather not kill him, but that shows still how we need more slapping to be done. I'd rather not get bad omens, so I'm just gonna hopefully let you burn to death. Hopefully, please, I'll leave him to it. So as you can see, this tower is coming together. We are getting the basics done. And you may also notice I have changed the glass up here from light grey stained glass to blue stained glass. That has made, again, a real difference. Just to really bring a bit of colour into this build. And we're going to be making use of this blue stained glass later in the build when we begin to, thank you door, when we begin to add windows to the rest of the build. Because obviously, this is just the template. There'll be windows. There'll be all kinds of bits and pieces coming out from this tower. So you've got all that to look forward to. But unfortunately, like I said, that is all I have time for today's episode. So if you have enjoyed, please leave a like so it does help out the channel, and I will see you in the next one.